I told you 2026 is only getting started, and we haven't even hit May yet? The rest of this year is absolutely stacked. Horror, action, animated classics, kaiju mayhem, D-Day thrillers, spy films, family adventures, and the kind of superhero events that remind you why movies were made to be seen on a big screen. Welcome back to Cine Edge. And today I am going to show you every single major release hitting from now through the end of the year, so you know exactly what to get excited for and when. Let's go month by month, starting from May. Kicking off May, one of the most anticipated sequels in years finally arrives, The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Runway. It's not just a magazine. It's a global icon.
Almost 20 years later, Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci all return, and Miranda Priestly is facing her most dangerous threat yet. Early press reactions are calling it sharp, charming, and surprisingly funny. One critic said it had no right to be as good as it is. The Devil Wears Prada 2 opens on May 1st, only in theaters. Also opening May 1st, Hokum, a supernatural horror film from director Damian McCarthy, the mind behind the cult hit Odyssey. Adam Scott plays a reclusive horror novelist who retreats to a remote Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes, only to become consumed by local tales of a witch haunting. Disturbing visions and a shocking disappearance pull him into a nightmarish confrontation with his past. Critics are calling it fiendishly fun and one of the most confident horror films of the year. If you loved Odyssey, then check this out on May 1st in your nearby theaters. Then, on May 8th, the tournament officially begins. Mortal Kombat II.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight.
Tell me you're not some crazy fans. How are you doing that?
Are you coming or what?
The fan-favorite champions are back, and this time joined by the one character everyone wanted. Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. Together, they face Shao Kahn, ruthless emperor of Outworld, in a no-holds-barred battle for the fate of Earthrealm. Director Simon McQuoid promised this sequel leans hard into the outrageous side of the franchise, more fatalities, the actual tournament structure, and sharper humor thanks to Urban's Cage. It's rated R, and it earns every bit of that. Mortal Kombat 2 hits theaters on May 8th in IMAX. Also, on May 8th, The Sheep Detectives. And yes, this one is exactly what it sounds like, and somehow even better.
Last night, something terrible happened. Our shepherd was murdered.
No! George is dead?
Every night, a shepherd reads murder mysteries aloud to his flock, pretending they understand. But when he turns up dead, the sheep realize he was actually murdered, and since they've listened to every mystery he ever read, they believe they know exactly how to solve it. Hugh Jackman voices the deceased shepherd, with Julia Louis-Dreyfus leading the flock alongside Bryan Cranston, Patrick Stewart, and Chris O'Dowd. Written by Craig Mazin, the creator of The Last of Us, and directed by Kyle Balda. It already holds a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes from early screenings. The Sheep Detectives, a genuine wildcard that could become your favorite film of the year. On May 15th, Is God Is. A fierce, revenge-driven thriller that is unlike almost anything else on this list.
Sweet. We got a letter from Mom.
I thought she was dead. What she want with us now? Where she been at?
She's on her deathbed.
It follows two sisters scarred emotionally and physically who embark on an epic quest to track down the monstrous father who destroyed their childhoods at the dying request of their mother. Sterling K. Brown and Tessa Thompson star alongside newcomers Cara Young and Mallory Johnson. It's already generating serious award season buzz, a visceral, charged family drama that pulls no punches. Is God Is opens May 15th in theaters. Streaming on May 20th, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Ghost War. The beloved spy franchise makes its feature film debut on Prime Video.
So you leave the CIA, you get yourself a nice civilian job.
Are you kidding me?
It's good to see you.
John Krasinski returns as Jack Ryan, pulled out of retirement when an international covert mission unravels a deadly conspiracy involving a rogue Black Ops unit. The film is structured as a real-time thriller, keeping the same ticking clock tension that made the series so addictive. If you watched the show, this is exactly the send-off you wanted. Ghost War drops May 20th only on Prime Video. And then, Star Wars is back on the big screen for the first time since 2019.
We've all heard stories of the Mandalorian bounty hunter and a child.
The Mandalorian and Grogu. Din Djarin and Baby Yoda, now officially Mando's apprentice, are bounty hunters for the New Republic, tracking ex-Imperial war criminals across the galaxy. Pedro Pascal returns, joined by Sigourney Weaver and Jeremy Allen White. Director Jon Favreau says going from streaming to IMAX freed him to go bigger in every way: real locations, stop-motion creature work, and sequences designed for the biggest screens possible. The opening 20 minutes, shown at CinemaCon, reportedly brought the house down. The Mandalorian and Grogu opens May 22nd. See this one in IMAX. Closing out May, Backrooms, one of the most fascinating origin stories in recent Hollywood history. Back in 2022, a teenager named Kane Parsons uploaded a found-footage horror short to YouTube, and it exploded overnight. A 24 took notice and handed him the keys to a full feature. The film stars Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renat Reyansve as a furniture store owner and his therapist, who discovers he's gone missing through an interdimensional portal in his own basement. From viral internet phenomenon to a 24 feature directed by a filmmaker who was still in high school when the story began. Backrooms opens May 29th in theaters. On May 29th, Pressure. And this might just be the awards dark horse of the summer.
If D-Day is cancelled, we will lose this war.
The final decision on the timing of D-Day will be mine, and mine alone.
It tells the true story of the 72 hours before D-Day. Everything is in place for the largest seaborne invasion in history, except one critical element: the British weather. Andrew Scott plays group captain, summoned to deliver the most consequential forecast ever given. And he is locked in a tense, extraordinary standoff with the Supreme Allied Commander, played by Brendan Fraser, over whether to launch or delay. Director Anthony Maras previously helmed Hotel Mumbai. Focus Features is already positioning this for a Best Picture run, with Scott, Fraser, Condon, and Lewis all likely to be in the acting conversation. Pressure opens May 29th, a ticking clock thriller where the stakes are literally the outcome of the Second World War. June 5th brings us the live-action movie Masters of the Universe.
I know most of you don't remember me, but I know all of you.
Nicholas Galitzine steps into the role of He-Man, a prince marooned on Earth at 10 years old and separated from his magical sword. Now grown, he must face Jared Leto's Skeletor in a battle for Castle Grayskull and the survival of Eternia. This is a full-scale fantasy action epic that's finally giving the franchise the big screen treatment it deserves. It opens June 5th in your nearby theaters. Also on June 5th, Scary Movie. The 6th entry in the franchise, but the official title drops the number entirely. And for the first time since Scary Movie 2, the Wayans brothers are back in control. Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, Anna Faris, and Regina Hall reunite to savage everything from Scream 6 to Megan, Get Out, and every quote-unquote final chapter that absolutely was not final. Scary Movie opens June 5th in theaters. Sometimes you just want big, dumb, and hilarious. Then, June 12th, Disclosure Day, the highly anticipated alien invasion sci-fi thriller from the legendary director Steven Spielberg.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear her. It's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can.
If you like UFO stories that feel big but still human-sized, Disclosure Day looks like it's aiming right at that sweet spot. A public-facing, something is happening situation mixed with the quieter, personal dread of realizing the world might be changing. Steven Spielberg circling back to the kind of sci-fi he's basically part of the blueprint for, which makes this one feel like an event movie without needing to shout about it. Disclosure Day opens June 12th in IMAX. On June 19th, A24 delivers one of their most ambitious films yet, The Death of Robin Hood.
People speak of Robin Hood. Tell us stories. They're all lies.
Hugh Jackman plays an aged, gravely injured Robin Hood, a man who has spent a lifetime as a murderous bandit that the common folk decided to glorify. Now, grappling with the gap between who he actually was and the legend he became, he's offered a last chance at salvation by a mysterious woman. Jodie Comer and Bill Skarsgård co-star. Director Michael Sarnowski describes this as a film that examines someone grappling with the role of storytelling and their actual identity. The Death of Robin Hood opens June 19th in theaters. Also on June 19th, Toy Story 5. Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and the whole gang are back, this time facing a threat they've never encountered. A brand new tablet called LilyPad, voiced by Greta Lee, who arrives with her own ideas about what's best for Bonnie. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and much of the original cast return, joined by Ernie Hudson and Conan O'Brien. Directed by Andrew Stanton, the man who gave us WALL-E and Finding Nemo. Toy Story 5 opens June 19th in theaters. Closing out June, Supergirl, the second film in James Gunn's new DC universe. An action-packed superhero sci-fi, exploring Kara Zor-El's darker origins before she reaches Earth. This film peels back the layers of her past, revealing a grittier side of the iconic hero's journey. As Kara confronts her troubled beginnings, the story builds tension through secrets and inner conflict, setting it apart from typical superhero tales. The mix of sci-fi adventure with emotional depth creates a fresh perspective on a well-known character. For fans eager to see a bold new take on Supergirl's origin, this highly anticipated 2026 release promises a compelling and grounded blockbuster experience. Supergirl opens June 26th in IMAX. July 10th brings the live-action Moana.
Moana, the ocean chose you. Find Maui.
Catherine Lagaya, discovered through a global open casting call and making her film debut, takes on the title role, with Dwayne Johnson returning as Maui, this time fully in the flesh. Directed by Thomas Kail, who helmed the filmed version of Hamilton, the movie brings Lin-Manuel Miranda back as songwriter and celebrates the islands and traditions of Pacific Islanders on a massive scale. This arrives on the 10th anniversary of the original animated film on July 10th in your nearby theaters. And now, the one that may be the cinematic event of the decade. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Matt Damon stars as Odysseus, king of Ithaca, making his brutal and mythic journey home after the Trojan War, battling the Cyclops, the Sirens, and the gods themselves. The ensemble is staggering. Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Charlize Theron as Cersei, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, and more. Shot entirely on brand new IMAX 70mm technology across Morocco, Greece, Iceland, and Italy, with a $250 million budget. This is Nolan's most ambitious film yet, and that is saying something. Opening weekend tickets sold out in hours. Universal's own distribution chief called it a once-in-a-generation cinematic masterpiece. The Odyssey opens on July 17th. See it on the biggest screen you can find. Then on July 31st, Tom Holland swings back. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Set 4 years after No Way Home, Peter Parker is determined to put his Spider-Man days behind him, focusing on his life instead. But when a new danger targets his closest friends, he can't ignore the call to action. Breaking his promise, Peter suits up once more, joining forces with an unlikely ally to keep everyone safe. The film promises to deliver a compelling blend of action and heart, and it's definitely one of the most awaited movies of the year. August 14th. The End of Oak Street. From David Robert Mitchell, the director of It Follows, and produced by J.J. Abrams. This is a 1980s set survival thriller, unlike anything else this summer. Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor play parents on a quiet suburban street who begin noticing strange things in their neighborhood. Then, one night, a violent thunderstorm hits, and when they wake up, their entire street has been transported somewhere completely unknown, somewhere prehistoric, surrounded by dinosaurs. Described by Warner Brothers as a Twilight Zone-esque film, shot on IMAX with an $85 million budget, Mitchell is best known for slow-burn horror. The fact that he's now working with dinosaurs, Anne Hathaway, and a studio budget makes this the wildest swing of the year. The End of Oak Street opens August 14th in IMAX. Then, August 21st, the Insidious franchise is back. Insidious, Out of the Further. Amelia Eve stars as Gemma, a young mother who discovers she can do something no one else in the franchise has managed. She doesn't just enter the Further, she can bring what lives there back into the real world. And once the demons realize her power, our world becomes their playground. Franchise mainstay Lin Shaye returns, alongside Brandon Perea from Nope. Directed by Jacob Chase, who made Come Play, Insidious will open on August 21st in theaters. Also arriving this May, Mutiny.
It's okay. I'm here to help. I'm coming back. For everybody.
What the fuck is going on?
Get back in the container! Said get back in!
Jason Statham stars as Cole Reed, a private security operative working for a powerful shipping magnate. But when his boss is suddenly murdered, Reed is framed for the crime, forcing him to go on the run, while uncovering a much larger international conspiracy. Directed by Jean-François Richet, who previously directed Plane, with Gerard Butler. And let's be honest, this is classic Statham territory. Gritty, fast, and straight to the point. If you enjoy that no-nonsense action style, this is definitely one to watch when it opens in theaters on August 21st. Closing out August on the 28th, The Dog Star, adapted from Peter Heller's acclaimed post-apocalyptic novel. This is a quiet and emotional survival story about a pilot named Hig and his dog navigating a world destroyed by a pandemic, one of the few survivors holding on to what remains of his humanity. It is directed by legendary director Ridley Scott and stars Jacob Elordi in the lead alongside Margaret Qualley and Josh Brolin. It's a very different kind of end-of-world story, and I'm pretty much excited about it. The Dog Stars opens August 28th in theaters. September 11th brings one of the most beloved cult classic romantic comedy is back, Practical Magic 2. Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock return as the Owens sisters, now joined by Joey King and Maisie Williams as the next generation of the family. Diane Wiest and Stockard Channing are also back as the aunts. Directed by Suzanne Bier, the filmmaker behind Bird Box. The original has been beloved for nearly 30 years. If this sequel captures even half that warmth and magic, it's going to be a real treat. Practical Magic 2 opens September 11th. Also, September 11th, Runner, a high-concept action thriller with an irresistible premise.
You're Hank, aren't you?
You're the delivery man.
Alan Ritchson, the star of Reacher, plays a former soldier and high-end courier who gets handed what should be a simple job: transport a liver from Brisbane to the Gold Coast within 3 hours to save the life of a sick 7-year-old girl. Owen Wilson co-stars as the man who handed him the cooler. Directed by Scott Waugh, the script was included in the prestigious Black List of Best Unproduced Screenplays before it was made. Runner opens September 11th, only in theaters. October 2nd, Digger. And this one's a fascinating combination. Alejandro González Iñárritu, the director of Birdman, The Revenant, and Babel, teams up with Tom Cruise for what's being teased as a comedy of catastrophic proportions. That's all we officially know, and honestly, the combination of Iñárritu's visual ambition and Cruise's commitment to spectacle is enough to put this on every must-see list for the fall. Digger opens on October 2nd. Details are sparse. Expectations are not. Then on October 16th, Street Fighter.
I got good news, y'all! Gathered here are the world's best fighters!
Set in 1993, the film follows estranged fighters Ryu and Ken Masters, thrown back into combat when Chun-Li recruits them for the next World Warrior tournament, and a deadly conspiracy that forces them to face off against each other and their own demons. With Kitao Sakurai, director of Bad Trip, behind the camera, this looks to lean into the chaotic, stylized energy of the game rather than take itself too seriously. Street Fighter opens on October 16th in theaters. November 6th, The King of Monsters returns, Godzilla -0. The direct sequel to 2023's Oscar-winning Godzilla -1 brings back writer-director Takashi Yamazaki and the same core cast. Set in 1949, 2 years after the events of the first film, former kamikaze pilot Koichi Shikishima and his family face an all-new calamity as a recovering Japan confronts Godzilla again. This is the first Japanese production ever shot for IMAX. The team that beat Hollywood at its own game is back, with bigger budgets and even bigger stakes. Godzilla -0 opens on November 6th, only in theaters. Sharing November 6th, Wild Horse 9. And this might already be your frontrunner for the best film of the year.
Yo, hungry?
Remember, we ain't leaving the fucking island, Lee.
What's that, a threat?
You can take it any way you fucking want.
Well, how about you take it and you shove it up your flabby little ass? How about that?
Martin McDonagh, the Oscar-winning director behind In Bruges, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and The Banshees of Inisherin, is back. Set just before the 1973 Chilean coup, CIA agents Chris and Lee are dispatched from Santiago to Easter Island by their bureau chief. The 2 longtime partners wrestle with dark pasts and growing conspiracies until Chris forms an unexpected bond with a pair of rebellious local students that threatens to unravel the entire mission. If you know what sharp McDonagh banter sounds like Malkovich and Rockwell bickering in paradise, with a political coup building in the background, you already know this is something special. Wild Horse 9 opens November 6th in your nearby theaters. November 20th brings us back to Panem. The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping.
Welcome, Panem, to the glorious reaping of District 12.
It takes us back 24 years before Katniss's story begins. The film opens on the tense morning of the 50th Hunger Games Reaping, focusing on a young Haymitch Abernathy as he faces the brutal selection process. Suspicion and unease build in Panem as the districts prepare for another deadly contest, highlighting the grim reality behind the spectacle. With high production values and a deeply immersive story, this prequel promises to be a major sci-fi blockbuster that expands the universe with intense drama and thrilling stakes, making it one of the most anticipated films of 2026. And on November 25th, Focker-in-Law, the Meet the Parents franchise, returns after 16 years.
laboratory. I test all the potential new family members with this machine. Is your name Olivia Jones?
Yes. Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller are back, but now it's the next generation's turn to sweat under Jack Burns' scrutiny. Ariana Grande plays Olivia, the new daughter-in-law, who is everything Jack could hope for, which means Greg Focker is absolutely not going to let her off easy. It took Greg multiple films to earn a place in the circle of trust. He'll be damned if she gets a free pass. Focker-in-Law opens November 25th. December 18th. The moment the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe has been building toward. Avengers, Doomsday. Robert Downey Jr. returns not as Tony Stark, but as Dr. Doom himself. Heroes from 3 different teams, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men, must unite against the most powerful threat they've ever faced. Directed by the Russo brothers, who gave us Infinity War and Endgame. Early box office tracking already predicts this could be 2026's highest-grossing film. Doomsday opens on December 18th in theaters. And sharing that enormous December weekend, Denis Villeneuve's Dune, Part 3, the epic conclusion of the trilogy. Adapting Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah, the film picks up 12 years after Paul Atreides rose to power and explores what that power costs. The weight of prophecy, the brutal consequences of holy war. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Jason Momoa all return. Villeneuve wrapped filming ahead of schedule. Expectations after the first 2 films could not be higher. And the fact that this goes head-to-head with Avengers Doomsday on the same weekend means December 18th could be one of the biggest box office days in cinema history. Dune, Part 3 opens December 18th. See both if you can. And that is your complete 2026 most anticipated movie calendar, from May all the way through December. Now I want to know which one has you the most excited. Are you Team Avengers, Doomsday, Team The Odyssey, Team Wild Horse 9? Or is there a sleeper hit somewhere on this list that has quietly crept to the top of your watch list? Drop it in the comments right now. I genuinely read every single one. And if this video helped you plan your movie year, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next on Cine Edge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.